You have been exploring underneath that little dwarf colony called Potoko. You return back to the area where you had met some Sahuagin, and it seems they might be open to taking you to visit their leader. And Scapos pats each of you on the shoulder, like shakes Raja's hand. Welcome to the realm of our high priestess. And he points off in the distance where you can hear like a running river. He says the river will take us to the lake, and from the lake we will go on to the village. Eventually, though, in the distance you can see like lights along the far shore. And as you approach, you see that it is actually an underground city. Kapos is welcome. This is the great city of Dregasan. There's more buildings. There's probably like a good 40, 50 buildings. And on the shore, there's also buildings too. Like some that are built just on the solid ground. And you kind of see just workshops and places where they store goods and things like that. You see a good number of Sahuagin on the shore, maybe at least 100, 150. And you also spot other creatures too. You see some people that look like walking mushrooms with just short, stubby hands and little legs just moving around. Other Sahuagin, but they're colored differently. Like the ones you're talking, like Scapos is like pale white. These ones are kind of like striped blue, and they're built a little differently, maybe a little smaller. And you also see a third species, tall, thin, upright lizard people. And they're also all albino white. And they all, with that role, they all look subservient to Sahuagin. After a few minutes of looking around, the Sahuagin are like keeping a wary eye on you. But since they recognize that Scapos was the one that brought you, they seem to be like accepting you right now. Scapos returns and says, he comes out of the water. Yes, she will meet with you. She will be happy to discuss the tribute that you wish to offer her. It may be other activities that you can do to promote her realm. Yes, she will be happy to meet you. Wait here. She'll be here in a few minutes.
Oh, we're doing it tonight.
No, she is on her way.
Okay.
So you start seeing like underwater activity, like just like you see shadows under the water. Sahuagin start to appear. It's a pretty good number. And they are armed with like long spears. They look ceremonial, actually. Like they have very fancy trident heads, and they have like fancy sashes. And then a much larger Sahuagin shows up. This guy is like 7 feet tall and just thickly built, just huge muscles, just gigantic. And he has like this long sort of like jagged edge. And then after a minute, another big Sahuagin appears. It's like a big, heavy female. They all have like pale albino skin and like big eyes, but she has tattoos across her body, all across the arms, across the chest, running down the thighs. And it's Scapos is speaking Sahuagin to her. You hear her respond. She has just a little thin, raspy voice. But then Scapos says, "Our high priestess Zychus welcomes you to her realm.
It is an honor to meet you."
She wonders what tribute you have for her this evening. Scapos is looking at you. Oh, the honey. You had honey, right?
Oh, I thought you didn't like the honey. Yeah, I got the honey.
I hate it, but she loves it apparently.
Sure, I'll take out the jar of honey.
She looks at the jar, takes a sniff, and like her eyes open wide. She says something. Scapos like, she is pleased. He looks at the rest of you. What else do the rest of you have?
I have this 50 foot of hempen rope. He has nothing on him to use as a gift.
I've only got my gold, the whiskey flask of the fountain water, and then dwarvish wine, if any one of those would interest them.
And Scapos points at the wine. And Scapos actually does say the rope, yes.
I will pull out my dragon chest set and see if there's interest in that.
He's looking at you too. Not quite a human from around here, are you? And then she nods. Scapos says, she is pleased. Wonderful. You may ask any favors of her that you may wish. She may not answer or grant them, but as you have earned her approval for now, she will offer her guidance and counsel for this evening.
I mean, I think we're just sort of exploring and curious. We don't have too many other questions except for my buddy here, I think.
She starts speaking again. Scapos listens. He looks a little embarrassed. Our priestess would have one task of you. before she would kind of allow you our passage to leave.
Right.
There is a cavern on the other side of the lake where there are crystals that we revere, but they're guarded by certain creatures. If you could retrieve one crystal to prove your worth, she would consider you valued allies in the future.
Okay.
If she could explain her god or whatever.
Oh no, she happily talks about her god. Her god, like their god, she starts speaking and they all kind of like just bow down deeply in like reverence. And she starts talking about Sharvos. Sharvos is the great shark at the end of time who will one day awaken to devour the world. And they are its loyal followers. It will be a great honor to be the feast of the shark. Actually, she continues explaining, there's an avatar of Sharvos in the lake that protects us.
What can they tell us about these crystals that are in the cave?
She explains that they are very pretty, but they also imbue some sort of weak magical essence that they can use to power their magics.
Are there any critters who live around where these crystals are?
Oh, going there is a test of our greatest warriors.
Sure.
Some come back. She points to her like huge warrior there. Scott said he was the last to go and retrieve a crystal. His 3 other companions did not return.
Cool.
He is now the captain of her army.
Hey, do you have a place where we can sleep tonight?
Yes, Scott points out to like one of the buildings there.
Okay.
It's like we can provide slaves to offer you services and to help you with your needs as well.
Oh,
Scapos, how do you know common?
Maybe 10 years ago, some humans were found here. We captured them. They were poor slaves, but before we sacrificed them to the Avatar, they did manage to teach a few of us common. It's a great honor to be sacrificed to the Avatar. It's
sure.
It's a painless death. They did not suffer, and they fed the shark at the end of time.
Yeah. Super great honor. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to get sleepy. Maybe we should go rest up before we go get these crystals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seem to have pleased our high priestess.
I please everyone.
In the morning, if you are willing to carry out her task for you, we can guide you across the lake to the area.
Yeah, sure, yeah. It sounds like we sort of have to.
He nods. It is true.
Okay.
Enjoy your rest.
Hey, thanks.
But you're certainly free to look around. If you walk around, if you look outside, you see that it looks like most of the Sahuagin are settling down for the evening. It looks like that most of them are heading off into the water, but there's a few who are like staying on the ground here, and it looks like they're herding. Basically, they're slaves to some of the big buildings for the sleep cycle.
Okay.
So we'll just say that you roll out your sleeping bags, your bedrolls, you take your long rest. This building does smell strongly of just drying fish.
That's fine.
Okay, for first watch then, Arthur, roll perception as you're just sitting quietly in the room there. An hour in, it sounds like the whole town is very quiet. You hear occasionally, just in the distance, maybe some Sahuagin passing along the way. It's the water, though. It's the water that you can feel like somehow pulsating beneath your body.
Is it a magical pulsing?
It's a physical pulsing.
I am going to slowly start walking to the edge of the water and see if there's anything that I can sense.
You're sensing something definitely exists in the water, which is titanic. If you just start to like concentrate on it, and you just get a sense of a gigantic mouth with huge teeth, mindless, no intelligence, just mindlessness and hunger. Raj, you start to sense, the Sahuagin are awake and they're like moving around again, and the rest of your natural body rhythms, just wake you up around, what you guess might be the morning. And Skapos is there in the building.
Hello.
Hey, Scapos.
Well, the high priestess has asked me to escort you across the lake to the cave, and I will await to see what happens. Hopefully we'll make it back out alive and we can return you to your home.
What exactly are we up against? Like what exactly is trying to eat us?
Oh, just again, there's inside there is a room where their crystals grow.
Mm-hmm.
grab a crystal and avoid the creature that will try to devour you.
Avoid it completely. We're not. No fighting.
Well, if you can avoid, if you can kill it, that would be quite the feat. If you can avoid it, though, I'm sure that we only want the crystal. I don't know much about it. I am not a great warrior like Vorkir is. He says that it drew blood from his body when he struck it. He fled. He could not defeat it, but he did manage to escape its grasp.
Nice.
He leads you up like it looks like a little worn trail through the rocks, and eventually, after maybe 20 minutes, it comes to a cave. There's an opening into the ground below, and he says, "It's we found this pretty soon after we colonized the area. It's we discovered the properties of the crystals. The high priestesses can use them for some of their magical rituals, but there's a creature in there, and." He kind of pats Raj on the shoulder. I'm sure you'll be fine.
I'm sure I will be.
There's like a little cave there, and Scopo's points. There, down there. You can see it.
All right, and you'll be waiting here for us.
Oh no, I'm gonna wait here. I'll wait here. I'll probably hear your screams if you die.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I will wait for a day. And good luck. It looks like there is a corridor beyond. It's like a big room of like heavy carved stone construction, like big blocky bricks, just very rectangular and angular. But in the middle, it's like there's these just roughly carved stone columns serving as pillars holding up the roof. Charlie's creeping ahead, I assume.
It's per usual.
You don't see any decoration. There's no writing. There's no like runes or insignia. Just these plain brick walls. And it doesn't, I will say with history rolls, it doesn't match the Sahuagin architecture.
Would we say that the stone construction is like of similar fineness to the dwarven ruins we were in?
It doesn't match exactly, but you're not sure. It could be dwarven, or it could be some offshoot. You're not sure. But there's definitely similarities you're sensing. So yeah, now it looks like you're coming up on, you're peeking into, it looks like a bigger room. And the feature of this room that you immediately notice is that it is composed of descending platforms into a lower area here.
Do we want me to look for traps to start?
That might be a good idea, yes.
Do I see anything that looks like it would trigger something bad happening?
You see immediately behind you, there are, like, in the wall, there's these two little carved slits.
Looks like maybe a giant circular blade's gonna pop out of there, possibly?
Doesn't look like anything mechanical, but it looks like something could definitely come out of those slots. You can basically see the rest of the room. It's kind of this big rectangular room, and you see two corridors poking out to the north and south. And in that middle now, you can definitely see there is 45 feet down, this little area here, there's like this naturally shaped stone pedestal, atop of which is this mass of this glowing yellow crystals.
Well, we were sent down here to get crystals.
Yeah, so you hop down 15 feet.
Yeah.
Hop down 15 feet.
Yeah, Griff will jump down there. I mean, what could possibly go wrong, really? Griff is going to try breaking a few off.
And as soon as Griff does that, this red ooze starts to pour out of that opening. Roll initiative.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so Griff, you can't really see. You can see Starly standing at the edge of the platform here. Otherwise, you don't have an angle on anything beyond Starly. What's Griff do?
I'm going to try and climb out of this particular pit.
I am going to run and dash away from the ooze. And then I am going to see if I can shoot an arrow at it and see if it does anything.
Okay, so yeah, your arrow pops into it. Those of you standing pretty close by, it looks like just an ooze of blood. Raj, it is going, a giant pseudopod of blood just flips up and swings at you. That misses?
Yep.
I am going to cast Eldritch Blast.
I am going to, with a bonus action, send a Hawk Spirit. So now I can use, as a reaction, grant advantage to someone when they make an attack against the ooze. I am going to produce flame and shoot a flame at it, and it doesn't hit.
That does hit.
Oh, that does hit? An 8?
Yes. It's just an ooze. There's not much to it.
9, 5.
The fire dances on the surface and then flickers off with like seemingly no effect.
Then I'll use my bonus action to move the lights to the ooze.
I am going to loose another arrow and then keep looking it for that corridor.
You hear another slurping sound from this other slit rod, and you see, unfortunately, another one oozes out.
I feel like they were unclear with their description of the
Yeah, they
monster.
said it was a monster. This is clearly multiple.
Griff, now you can see like this patch of just red blood just oozing down the wall there, and it forms up next to you, and it forms a pseudopod over its head and it swings at you. So you take 5 damage as the pseudopod slams into you, and you take 22 necrotic damage. And you feel your own blood being drawn out into this creature, and it seems to increase a little bit in size.
I'm just gonna do another Eldritch Blast. Hope it hits.
Which one?
One centered on the already damaged one and one on the other one. And I am going to summon a tentacle, and I'm gonna have it attack.
I'm gonna be stupid and move in, and I'm going to attack it with my short sword, and I am going to declare this a favored foe, and I am going to bonus action have Nagisi come in and do like a flyby strike.
When you hit with your sword, a couple of blood tendrils whipped out around your arm, and you take
Ow.
you take 10 necrotic damage.
I will move Scooter down to here and cast Cure Wounds through him for Griff.
Okay, now Griff will cast Hex on Slime Boy, and then he will take his.
You have advantage because I'm giving you advantage.
As a reaction, though, it's going to strike out at you with its special skill. You take 15 necrotic damage.
Can I see, like, down this hall that I'm, like, right next to?
With a quick glance, it looks like just a glob of stone there, maybe shaped in the form of a person, like a squat, ugly person. And that's what you see in 1 second.
Okay. I am going to, again, shoot some arrows. A arrow. I don't have 2, just 1.
Starly and Griff, you see it like it fluctuates in size as you hit it and like damage it, and it definitely shrinks a bit from that hit right there.
Okay.
This ooze is going to. It's sensing warmth to the north. This one down here is going to swing at the creature it's sensing is holding the crystal, which is Griff. That misses.
Yeah, it does.
I am going to cast Witch Bolt on the one directly in front of me.
It's looking much smaller than when it first came out.
I am going to actually look out, and I am going to bring my hands up and fire out a poison spray.
And I'm gonna Vicious Mockery this one down here.
Oh, it doesn't make it. So it takes 3 psychic damage.
Yes, and its next attack is at disadvantage.
Okay, Griff will cast his Amplified Blood Curse, and he'll make his attack.
Oh, you crit it. Yeah, you blast this thing apart. Avia, you're back up.
Still going to shoot arrows.
It's going to shoot up to the holder of the crystal, which is Griff. It's going to swing a pseudopod at him. You take 27 damage in total.
I'm gonna move my tentacle and attack it.
I am going to drop my sword and pull out my bow.
A little quivering pool of blood right now.
I will try a Guiding Bolt.
I will give you advantage.
And it blows up in a spurt of blood. You listen, and it's quiet.
Do we want to get more?
Yeah, I think we learned a valuable lesson about taking crystals from here. Griff says as he goes and takes more crystals from here.
Are you taking another crystal?
Yep, he's going to take as many as he can.
Another ooze appears.
Okay, now we really have learned a valuable lesson.
Damn it, Griff.
I'm sorry. I didn't think that my words and deeds would come back to haunt me.
Anything else for Avia?
No, she'll glare at Griff. That's about it.
Its turn. It is going to slurps down here. And it's going to swing a pseudopod at Starly. So yeah, 9 bludgeoning as the pseudopod just slams in your body, and then 17 necrotic damage.
Eldritch Blast.
I don't want to be this close to it, so I am going to disengage, and I am going to move my 30 feet and just stand here just below Raj and Arthur.
You will Eldritch Blast.
Just slurping sound, one pours out of the notch on the north side of the door. So yeah, a big pseudopod slams into you, and you feel, once again, just blood being drawn out of your body back into the pseudopod. And
that also drops into 0 hit points.
oh, you're down.
I'm going to cast Eldritch Blast.
Bonus action, Easy on the one by Griff.
The Gizi just kind of like hovers over it and just like stabs down with its beak, and it just bursts apart in a spurt of blood.
And I will then run over and touch Griff and 4 healing.
I will Cure Wounds Griff again.
He will cast the Blood Curse, and then he will make an attack.
As a reaction, it's going to swing its blood tendrils in your direction. You take 12 necrotic damage.
And he will take his second attack.
The tentacle can take an opportunity attack.
Okay.
You smack it. It's just a tiny little puddle, but it's still moving in Griff's direction. And it's going to swing whatever little tentacle it can, and it smacks
that
him.
will hit, yes. And that will take him down to 0 again.
So yeah, you fall down again, and it gets a little bigger as it hits him.
Alright. You already know what I'm doing.
You blast it apart.
So I was gonna say I have this like sort of protective barrier thing I could have set like right up here that we could have like hid in, and maybe put a rope down so you could grab a crystal and then run inside.
Maybe
and hide.
next time.
Okay.
So yeah, Griff's lying on, kind of bleeding out on the ground.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Griff will get up and just like, so we've definitely learned a valuable lesson about stealing, so that's not just wrong.
Off.
Can I inspect it for any sort of magic?
This doesn't seem quite natural. I mean, unless you're actually someone's casting detect magic, you just don't have any way to like know whether or not it's magical.
Well, give me 10 minutes.
While Raj is going to do that, what the rest of you want to do?
I'd like to take a look at this room here.
So this room up here, it's a smaller room. In the middle, it looks like one of those natural stone column pillars, except as Avia glanced earlier, this one is kind of shaped into like the form of a little misshapen humanoid. Like you can definitely see like the outlines of like stubby arms, the lump of a face. Arthur's going to poke down here. Looks much the same, except that the humanoid figure carved to this kind of column, it looks like it's laying on its side. It's kind of like this very stubby, chubby, ugly humanoid figure.
Is there anything inscribed anywhere in this room?
There's some kind of writing carved on the base of this. These letters aren't carved into it. It's like they're little ridges and bumps kind of emerging from the stone.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
Is it an abyssal, draconic, druidic, giant, goblin, sylvan, or undercommon?
It looks vaguely, you're getting a hint of giant. Can't read it precisely, but it's like this is a monument to the guardians of the crystal.
Is it possible that the orc, the orcs in this region were like really, really, really huge?
They were pretty big. That ring we have is like a crown for me.
God.
Have you even shown
Nope.
Avia and Arthur this ring?
Oh.
No.
So they don't know
No.
what we're talking about.
No.
Nope.
So perhaps Raj pulls out of his bag this ring, but looks like it'll be made for like a gigantic figure.
It's evil.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, as long as you don't try to put it on, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Keep it like wrapped in like a nice like silk cloth, and then maybe some leather, and then stick it into like
I've been
bag of
keeping it
holding.
in the magic bag. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Raj, detect magic. You're going to ping on the crystals that you've broken off the formation, and the formation itself is pinging magic, and it extends down into the earth.
What kind of magic?
Evocation.
What about the statue guys?
No pings.
Not gonna grab any more crystals, Griff.
No, I pick up any crystals.
I mean, we could do the dome thing, if you want.
What's the dumb thing?
I could put a little magic dome right here.
Oh,
That
dome.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said the dumb thing, and I was like,
Oh, I mean, it is kind of still a dumb thing.
How many crystals were we told to get?
Just one.
Okay, well, we have one, and we have one for ourselves.
I mean, we could get one for each of us if we wanted to.
I mean, before we leave, I would ask to borrow one of the crystals, and I just want to take it and walk by both of the statues to see if anything happens. If there's any kind of reaction.
You're sensing the tiniest quiver of the ground under your feet.
I want to reach my hand out with the crystal and touch the statue.
Not that this quivering is getting stronger and stronger, and eventually, it's actually starting to affect your stance, and you hear cracking of the ground and stone underneath you.
nope.
That's after like 20
should we be
seconds.
running?
Avia is backing away. Starlight
Does it seem like something is burrowing up?
feels something is definitely underneath, and whatever it is, the effect is getting stronger. Is maybe something is moving up the ground toward you.
Okay, let's all
go.
go. Let's leave this place.
The rest are you hear people shouting, "Nope, noping out." Did Starlight retreat as well? Or
She waits 10 more seconds.
the ground is cracking and heaving. All of a sudden, the statue, this figure, just shifts away from you, and you see pushing out of the ground. It's like this giant humanoid gray hand. It's like 1.5 feet long, gigantic fingers, and it just slaps on the ground next to you.
And I run.
Okay, now you're moving. Okay. It seems like as soon as you pull the crystal away, the trembling starts dying down and slowing. And how long will you stand there to watch?
If everyone's running, I'm just going to head up to them.
After you get like this distance, you're not really sensing anything anymore, but you were sensing as you're moving away that the effect was dying down somehow.
So, big gray hand thing. I'm assuming that's the guardian of the crystal.
But it went away after you left. It only came out when you took the crystal to it. It didn't guard anything.
I assume the slimy boys were the guardians of the crystal.
It was like a hand. Like, I mean, it was big, but it looked like a regular hand, other than gray and big.
Starly saw it looked like a big, regular humanoid hand. I mean, not quite. Same number of joints, wasn't extra jointy, but basically same like 5 fingers, very like crusty and gray.
Do we want to say hi?
I mean, I'm sure it's fine.
It's totally fine. Not a problem.
I mean, it's true that nothing bad has happened because of our careless actions so far today.
You said that this thing stores energy, right?
Potentially it could.
So, I kind of want to try something bizarre. Do I have your guys' permission to try to pour some arcana into a crystal?
Ask Griff. He's the one who's holding them.
It should be assumed that Griff is always up for objectively stupid ideas, so hold out a crystal.
I want to try to pour a steady flow of arcana into the crystal.
You start pouring energy in, and it is just sucking up whatever you're giving it. You have lost a spell slot.
Griff's holding it out, but he hasn't let go of it.
Oh, this has been Griff's hand the entire time.
Yes.
With your permission, I would like to conduct more experiments on it every day, if possible.
We could grab him his own before we leave.
I want a crystal.
Are we doing this? Because I'm going to need another 10 minutes if we're doing it.
I was going to thunder wave the bunch of crystals to see if it would knock a bunch loose.
This is always such a horrible idea.
Yeah. If they absorb magic, what if the spell doesn't work? Take out one of the things. Let's maybe put it on the ground. I'll cast a sacred flame at it. I just want to see if it eats it.
Griff will reluctantly put his crystal on the ground, but he's watching all of you.
There's no effect. Detect an incremental increase in the amount of magic inside of it.
Okay.
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 What if we grab a bunch of crystals, let the oozes start to spawn, and we let this guy wake up? and let them fight the slime. The last person I freed from a giant rock came and helped.
I don't feel like that's statistically representative of everybody we free from giant rocks.
I mean, so far, every single person I've helped.
The 1 out of 1.
Yeah.
What if we had cast the hut here and just mined the crystal freely?
As you are discussing this, we're going to pull away and fade to black. Then we're going to see what happens once you start trying to collect as many crystals as you can.
You're going to spend 3 hours collecting crystals.
Well, they could be useful. I mean, it's a...
I wasn't complaining. I was just stating a fact.
Yes, and it's fun crystal collecting.
I mean, I'm gonna study them, so we'll get some use out of them.
Sure. I really wasn't complaining.
Okay, I
You complainer.
It's 12:30. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll leave off there. You have met a bunch of possibly not good devil fish people. Good job. Excellent.
Awesome.
All right.
Clap, clap. Mhm.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you all for continuing to show up for these crazy things.
Absolutely.
Okay. You all have a good night.
You too.
Okay.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.